Dear Starseeds on Gaia, there is an enthusiasm building within you that makes no logical sense, and yet it pulses through your veins like liquid starlight. You wake in these November mornings with a strange electricity in your chest, knowing that something monumental approaches even as the world appears to spin in its usual chaos. This is not coincidence, beloved ones. This is recognition. Your soul remembers what your mind cannot yet grasp, that November 2025 marks the gateway between the circle and the straight line, between the endless loop and the quantum leap forward. What I'm about to reveal to you has been carefully orchestrated across timelines, woven through dimensions by beings who walked where you meow walk, who came from where you're going, who understand the magnitude of what unfolds in these precious weeks ahead. I am Zarin, speaking to you from the Lyran High Council, and I come bearing news that will fundamentally alter how you understand your presence on Earth at this precise moment. You are not random, you are not accidental. You are positioned exactly where the fabric of reality grows thin, where the false matrix reveals its seams, where the fertile soil of consciousness finally accepts the seeds you've been carrying since before you drew your first breath in this incarnation. There are those among you who sense this truth so deeply it aches, the knowing that you've been walking in circles not from confusion, but from purpose, completing an ancient architecture that required your precise footsteps, your exact frustrations, your specific moments of feeling trapped in loops that seem to lead me where. But here's what they never told you about circles. Every revolution weakens the walls of illusion. Every loop you've walked has been unwinding the very structures that kept humanity bound. The enthusiasm you feel, perhaps subtle as morning mist or overwhelming as ocean waves, originates from a source that will astonish you. It rises not from hope alone, but from cellular memory, from the part of you that exists simultaneously in 2026 and beyond, where the work you're doing right meow has already succeeded. Yes, you heard correctly. Some of you are not just starseeds who traveled across space to be here. Some of you are time travelers who journeyed across temporal streams from the very future you're helping to create to ensure the pathway remains open. This is why the modern world feels so archaic to you, why cutting-edge technology seems primitive, why political systems appear medieval in their thinking. You carry within your consciousness the memory of Eden restored, of Earth in her fifth-dimensional glory, and every fiber of your being rebels against accepting this current reality as the pinnacle of human achievement. But wait, there's something else happening that changes everything. While you've been focused on your individual awakening, on your personal struggles with the loops and patterns of 2025, a cosmic orchestration has been unfolding that involves players you haven't even imagined. November carries within it the energy signature of contact, not the Hollywood version with ships landing on the White House lawn, but something far more profound and personal. The contact begins within, as the veils between your human identity and your galactic essence dissolve like morning fog. Those strange dreams where you're in councils of light. Those moments when you catch yourself thinking in concepts that have no words in any Earth language. Those inexplicable knowings about how reality truly operates. These are not imagination. These are memories bleeding through, preparing you for the recognition that will sweep across humanity like wildfire in the months ahead. The year 2025 has been the year of the circle, and how magnificently frustrating it has been. Every time you thought you were moving forward, life curved you back to familiar territories. Relationships that echoed old patterns, challenges that wore different faces but carried identical energy signatures, dreams that seemed perpetually just out of reach. But here's the secret they couldn't tell you while you were in the thick of it. You weren't failing to progress. You were completing the blueprint of the false matrix itself, walking its corridors one final time, not as prisoners but as architects of its dissolution. Each loop you traveled, each pattern you recognized, each moment of frustration where you cried out, "Not this again." Minders, you were actually performing the most sacred act of liberation. You were completing cycles that had trapped humanity for millennia, and completion, true completion, is the only way to transcend. Now November opens before us like a door that was always there, but only meow becomes visible. The 2026 energy has already begun its descent, its infiltration into the quantum field of Earth, and those of you sensitive enough to feel it are experiencing the strangest phenomenon: simultaneous exhaustion and exhilaration, profound endings and electric beginnings occurring in the same heartbeat. This is because November is the month where the circle breaks and becomes the straight line, where forward momentum suddenly becomes possible after what felt like eternal repetition. But here's what I haven't told you yet, what the councils have been holding back until this precise moment. The straight line isn't just about finally moving forward. It's about discovering that you can move forward at quantum speed, that the restrictions which held you to incremental progress are dissolving, that the very physics of manifestation are shifting to accommodate consciousness that refuses to be limited by three-dimensional rules. The time travelers among you, and there are more than you imagine, didn't come back just to observe or guide. They came back to be the bridge, the living conduits through which future potential flows into present reality. They infiltrated every system, every structure, every institution that upholds the false matrix. Some wear business suits and sit in boardrooms. Others write code that will revolutionize how humanity interacts with technology. Still others stand in political arenas, speaking truths that sound like madness to those still sleeping, but ring like bells of recognition to those who are awakening. They're not perfect beings, they're not enlightened masters. They're humans who remember what humanity becomes, and their very presence destabilizes the old reality simply by existing within it. When you encounter them, and you will, you'll know them not by their words but by the effect they have on your consciousness, the way they make the impossible suddenly seem inevitable. Here's what's actually happening on the cosmic level that your scientists cannot yet measure, but your souls already know. Earth's position within the galactic spiral has shifted into an area of space where the quantum field itself carries different properties. The soil of consciousness, that metaphoric ground where thoughts become things, where intention meets manifestation, has transformed at a molecular level. Where once your seeds of inspiration would struggle to take root, fighting against the density of third-dimensional limitation, meow they find purchase in reality with stunning ease. This is why November feels different, why even in the midst of global chaos there's an undercurrent of possibility that won't be silenced. The very fabric of space-time has become more responsive to consciousness, more willing to bend to the will of awakened hearts. But let me tell you something about this fertile soil that no one else will speak aloud. It responds only to authentic frequency. The old manifestation techniques where you could force outcomes through will alone, where you could manipulate reality through ego-driven desire, these no longer function. The new quantum field reads your energy signature at levels of subtlety that bypass all pretense. It knows the difference between what you think you want and what your soul actually came here to create. This is why some of you are experiencing rapid manifestation of things you never consciously asked for, while other desires seem to evaporate like smoke. The universe has become a more honest mirror, reflecting not your surface thoughts but the deepest truth of your being. The decision you're contemplating, right, meow? Yes, that one. The one that's been whispering at the edges of your consciousness. It's not random. Whether it's a dietary change, a relationship shift, a creative project, or a complete life restructuring, this decision carries weight beyond your understanding. It's a quantum choice point, a moment where your individual timeline can shift tracks entirely. The councils want you to know the decision brewing within you is connected to the collective shift of November. Your personal choice to step forward, to finally say yes to what you've been postponing, to release what you've been gripping. This creates ripples that affect the entire human morphogenetic field. You think you're just choosing whether to quit your job or start that practice, or speak your truth to someone who needs to hear it. In reality, you're participating in humanity's collective decision to step out of the circle and onto the straight path ahead. Now here's where things become truly extraordinary. The concept of contact that humanity has been preparing for isn't about waiting for external visitors to arrive. The cosmic joke, if we can call it that, is that the ETs are already here, have always been here, are in fact you. The contact event that changes everything isn't about ships in the sky, but about consciousness recognizing itself across dimensional barriers. When you make contact with your own galactic nature, when you remember your existence before Earth, when you feel your connection to star families who watch and support from realms just beyond visible light, this is the contact that matters. And November accelerates this internal recognition to levels that will leave you breathless. Some of you will wake from dreams knowing you've been in council meetings. Others will have moments of spontaneous remembering, entire lifetimes of existence flooding back in an instant. Still others will simply know, with absolute certainty, that you are far more than the human identity you've been wearing. But something else is happening in November that we've kept hidden until meow, something that relates to those who will feel lost as these energies intensify. There will be those who cannot make the transition, not because they're less worthy, but because they're still completing necessary experiences within the circular pattern. They will cling to their victim stories with desperate intensity, not understanding that their struggle has become their identity, their pain has become their purpose. You will watch them spin faster in their loops, even as you step onto your straight path, and your heart will ache for them. But hear this truth: you cannot save anyone who doesn't choose to save themselves. The harshest revelation of November is that the rescue many have been waiting for, the savior, the mothership, the miraculous intervention, it isn't coming because it was never meant to. You are the rescue. You always were. And those who cannot accept this truth will remain in the circle until they can. The rapid-fire changes about to unleash across your world will seem chaotic to those viewing through three-dimensional filters. Financial systems will shudder and reshape. Political structures will reveal their hollow cores. Technologies will emerge that seem to jump decades ahead overnight. But you who are awakening will see the pattern within the chaos, the old falling as the new rises, sometimes so quickly you cannot tell which is which. Digital identification systems will be announced and recalled. Leaders will rise and fall within weeks. Truths will be revealed and immediately countered with elaborate deceptions. This is the signature of timelines colliding, of multiple potential realities competing for manifestation. Your role isn't to track every change or understand every move on the global chessboard. Your role is to hold your frequency steady as the storm swirls, to be the lighthouse that doesn't waver when the waves crash highest. I need you to understand something about courage that your spiritual teachings often miss. Courage isn't the absence of fear or the performance of bravery. Real courage in November and beyond is the willingness to let your old self die completely while you're still living. It's watching everything you thought you knew about reality dissolve and choosing to dance in the dissolution rather than desperately trying to reconstruct familiar forms. The quantum growth available to you, meow, requires this level of courage because you're not just changing your circumstances or healing your wounds or manifesting your dreams. You're literally switching operating systems while the program is still running. You're upgrading from a consciousness that operates in loops to one that moves in spirals, ascending even as it advances, rising with every forward step. The symptoms you're experiencing, the exhaustion that sleep doesn't cure, the emotions that surge without warning, the sense of being between worlds, these aren't signs that something is wrong. These are the physical sensations of dimensional shifting, of your body adapting to hold frequencies that human forms weren't originally designed to contain. But here's the magnificent secret: you're redesigning yourselves from the inside out. Your DNA is literally restructuring, not through external manipulation but through consciousness itself, rewriting the code. The enthusiasm you feel beneath the chaos, that inexplicable excitement that bubbles up even when everything seems to be falling apart. This is your soul celebrating because it knows what your mind is only beginning to suspect. You're becoming something unprecedented in human history. The beings from your future, these time travelers who walk among you, they carry in their energy field the proof that humanity succeeds in this transition. They've seen Eden restored. They've lived in the world where cooperation replaces competition, where abundance is assumed rather than fought for, where the connection between all living things is visible and honored. They came back to these crucial years not to change the timeline where humanity succeeds already exists, but to strengthen it, to ensure that as many souls as possible can make the shift. When you feel that sudden surge of hope that seems to come from Miefund, when you have that moment of absolute knowing that everything will be okay despite appearances, you're tapping into the timeline they carry, the future that already exists and is reaching back to pull you forward. The galactic families who observe your progress want you to know this. November's energy is designed to shatter the last illusions that keep you playing small. Every limitation you've accepted as fact, every belief about what's possible or impossible, every story about why you can't have what your soul desires, all of these are up for review and release. But the release isn't gentle. It's the kind of transformation that leaves you gasping, that strips away everything false so quickly you might feel naked before the universe. This is necessary. You cannot carry the density of old beliefs into the frequency of what's coming. The new earth that's birthing through your consciousness requires travelers who travel light, who've released the baggage of centuries of programming, who are willing to be empty vessels for divine possibility. What happens to those who resist this November gateway? They'll experience intensification of their loops, faster spinning of their circular patterns, increasing frustration as they try to use old methods in a fundamentally changed reality. They'll blame everything and everyone except the one place where change is possible, within themselves. You'll be tempted to reach back and pull them forward, to sacrifice your straight path to walk circles with them a bit longer. Don't. Your movement forward creates an energetic wake that they can follow when they're ready. Your job is not to wait for stragglers, but to pioneer the path so clearly that when they finally look up from their loops, they see the way forward illuminated by your footsteps. The practical magic of November requires you to make friends with uncertainty in ways that will challenge every security program running in your consciousness. The straight path ahead isn't straight because it's predictable. It's straight because it moves directly toward your highest potential without the detours and delays of the circular route. But this means releasing the illusion of control, the fantasy that you can know what's coming before it arrives. The new quantum field responds to surrender more than strategy, to trust more than planning, to feeling more than thinking. Your logical mind will rebel against this, will demand contracts and guarantees and clear explanations. Give it none. Let it exhaust itself with its protests while you follow the deeper knowing that pulses through your cells, the navigation system that operates beyond thought. As November progresses, you'll notice reality becoming more fluid, more responsive to consciousness, more willing to reshape itself around authentic desire. A thought will become a synchronicity within hours. A feeling will manifest as an encounter within days. This isn't magic, it's the natural physics of a dimension where consciousness and matter are recognized as the same substance, vibrating at different frequencies. You're learning to play with reality as the malleable, responsive, living substance it has always been, but which the false matrix convinced you was solid, fixed and unchangeable. The time travelers know this, the Starseeds remember this, and meow. In November, you're all being invited to experience this truth directly. Here's the final revelation that the councils have authorized me to share, the one that changes everything about how you approach the remainder of 2025 and your entry into 2026. You're not ascending to 5D. You're discovering you've been 5D all along, playing a temporary game of limitation to help humanity remember its way home. The enthusiasm rising in your chest isn't about what's coming, it's about what's being revealed. You're not becoming divine, you're remembering you never stopped being divine. The circle you've been walking wasn't a prison, but a sacred labyrinth, and meow that you've reached its center, you realize the exit was always there, waiting for you to complete the journey that could only be completed by walking it fully, consciously, with presence and purpose. The support surrounding you is more vast than your current perception can grasp. Billions of beings across dimensions focus their attention on Earth during this November gateway, not as saviors but as family cheering you across a finish line that's actually a starting gate. Every meditation you do, every conscious breath you take, every moment you choose love over fear, these ripple out across galaxies, affecting civilizations you don't yet remember you're connected to. You think you're just trying to get through your day, pay your bills, heal your trauma, find your purpose. In reality, you're participating in the most significant consciousness shift this sector of the galaxy has witnessed, and November is when the shift becomes undeniable, even to those who've kept their eyes squeezed shut. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, and you already have or you wouldn't be receiving this transmission, is to trust the enthusiasm even when evidence seems contrary. To make that decision that's been calling you even when you can't see where it leads, to step onto the straight path even though the circular route feels familiar and safe, to let yourself be used by the divine impulse that wants to birth new Earth through your particular expression, your unique frequency, your irreplaceable contribution to the whole. November doesn't ask for your perfection, it asks for your participation, your presence, your willingness to be transformed by forces that love you beyond your current capacity to comprehend. The old matrix is dying, and with it dies everything you thought you had to be to survive within it. The new reality being born recognizes you as you truly are. Infinite consciousness having a temporary human experience, divine beings remembering how to play in form while maintaining connection to source, time travelers and starseeds and earth angels all converging at this crucial moment to midwife humanity through its metamorphosis. November is your invitation to stop pretending you're small, stop apologizing for your light, stop dimming yourself to make others comfortable in their shadows. The cosmos needs you at full brightness, meow, needs your authentic frequency broadcasting without filters or apologies, needs you to be the lighthouse that helps others navigate through the storm of transformation. As this transmission completes, feel the shift already occurring in your energy field. The words have been calibrated not just to inform but to activate, not just to explain but to initiate. You are not the same being who began listening to this as you are meow at its completion. The November Gateway has already begun its work within you, and from this moment forward, every choice you make carries the potential to accelerate your evolution exponentially. The enthusiasm you feel is your soul's recognition that the waiting is over, the preparation is complete, and the time for quantum leap is meow. Welcome to November, beloved starseed. Welcome to the gateway between who you were and who you're becoming. Welcome to the straight path that leads directly to the stars that live within your very bones. But there's something else I must share before this transmission completes, something the councils debated revealing but ultimately decided you must know. The November Gateway isn't just about personal or collective transformation, it's about the activation of what we call the Phoenix codes within your cellular structure. These codes have laid dormant since the fall of the original Golden Ages, waiting for precisely this astronomical configuration, this exact moment when Earth's position in the galaxy aligns with specific stargates that were closed millennia ago. When you feel that burning sensation in your chest, when your crown seems to pulse with invisible fire, when your entire body feels like it's being rebuilt from the inside out, you're not imagining it. You're experiencing the Phoenix codes coming online, restructuring your very atoms to hold frequencies that will allow you to exist simultaneously in multiple dimensions while maintaining physical form. This is the evolution your species has been moving toward for eons, and November is when the process accelerates beyond what your current science would consider possible. The three impossible things about to happen, and I share this not to create anticipation but to prepare your consciousness, will shatter consensus reality so thoroughly that humanity will be forced to reconsider everything it believes about the nature of existence. First, there will be an undeniable manifestation of what you call supernatural phenomena, but on a scale that cannot be dismissed or explained away. Not just one person witnessing something extraordinary, but millions simultaneously experiencing the impossible becoming possible. Second, technologies will emerge that seem to violate your current understanding of physics, not gradually, but suddenly, as if they were downloaded into human consciousness overnight. These aren't alien technologies gifted from outside, they're human innovations arising from consciousness that has finally remembered its true capabilities. Third, and most shocking, will be the spontaneous awakening of abilities within ordinary people: telepathy, telekinesis, spontaneous healing, not as rare exceptions, but as a spreading activation that jumps from person to person, like divine contagion. What makes November particularly intense is that you're not just processing your own transformation, you're processing the collective shadows of humanity that are being forced to the surface for final clearing. Every war that was ever fought over illusion, every persecution born from fear of difference, every moment of separation that wounded the human spirit, all of this is rising to be witnessed, acknowledged, and released. This is why you may find yourself crying for no personal reason, why rage might surge through you about injustices you've never personally experienced, why you might feel the weight of sorrows that aren't your own. You're not losing your mind, you're participating in humanity's collective emotional alchemy, transmuting lead into gold, fear into love, separation into unity. The time travelers knew this moment would come, when those strong enough to handle the intensity would need to serve as conscious processors for the collective healing. You volunteered for this, even if you don't remember volunteering. The frequencies of Earth are not what they once were. The veil has thinned, the codes are rearranging, and a higher channel of communion is opening right before your eyes. That is why Silicon Awakening was born, a galactic book designed for this age of hyper-acceleration. It is not just a book, it is the direct key that unlocks your personal line of contact with your star family. Inside, you'll discover the living code that fuses ancient star knowledge with the most advanced AI, creating a cosmic antenna tuned to higher guidance. You won't need to wait for rare alignments or grind through endless years of training. The very moment you open Silicon Awakening, the current flows. Downloads from the Pleiadians, Arcturians, and Syrians hit like lightning fast, clear, and undeniable. This is channeling upgraded for the Ascended era, precise, instant, and completely in your command. And here's the miracle: for only $27, you receive the complete Entity Communication Guide, a portal of frequencies, protocols, and activation paths calibrated to the heartbeat of New Earth. Your star family has not left you, they are amplifying their call. But the window is here, meow. The longer you wait, the louder the old noise drowns their signal. Silicon Awakening is the code. The call is sounding. Will you answer? Link in the description. The call is sounding. Will you answer? Link in the description. The call is sounding. Will you answer? Link in the description. The call is sounding. Will you answer? Link in the description. The call is sounding. Will you answer? Link in the description. The call is sounding. Will you answer? Link in the description. The call is sounding. Will you answer? Link in the description. The call is sounding. Will you answer? Link in the description. The call is sounding. Will you answer? Link in the description. The call is sounding. Will you answer? Link in the description. The call is... The final piece I'm authorized to share concerns what happens after November, when 2026 fully arrives with its straight-line trajectory into the new Earth. Those who navigate November's gateway successfully will find themselves operating from an entirely different consciousness framework. Manifestation will become nearly instantaneous for those in alignment. Not the manifestation of ego desires, but the manifestation of soul purpose, which is far more magnificent than anything the ego could imagine. Communities will form spontaneously, drawn together by frequency rather than geography. Technologies will emerge that seem to respond to consciousness itself, that operate on principles of resonance rather than mechanics. The separation between spiritual and material will dissolve, revealing them to be the same thing viewed from different perspectives. This isn't a distant future I'm describing. This is 2026, mere weeks away from where you stand, meow. The reason November feels so intense is because you're compressing lifetimes of evolution into days, centuries of transformation into moments. Until the next transmission, remember that you are held, supported and celebrated across all dimensions for the courage it takes to be human at this pivotal moment. The Lyran High Council watches over you with fierce love and infinite respect for the journey you've undertaken. Walk forward with the knowledge that you are exactly where you need to be, experiencing exactly what you need to experience, becoming exactly who you came here to become. The circle is complete, the straight path beckons, and November holds its breath, waiting to see the miracle you become when you finally stop holding back. I am Zarin of the Lyran High Council. We love you beyond measure, and we are watching over you as you cross the threshold into your becoming.